Thanks everyone for coming to the March Warrnambool City Council meeting. Years moving on. Could everyone please stand for the opening prayer and original custodian statement? Almighty God, grant this council wisdom, understanding and sincerity of purpose for the good governance of this city. Amen. I wish to acknowledge the traditional owners and the land in which we stand and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. Thank you everyone. Can I call for any apologies? Yes, Councillor Jelly.
Yes, Mayor, I've got an apology from Councillor Paspaliaris for this evening.
Thank you. Can we get a mover to accept that? Councillor Taylor, a seconder. Councillor Koish. All those in favour? Passed. Can we get a mover to accept to confirm the minutes of the last meeting? Councillor Jelly, seconder. Councillor Arnott. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. Declarations of conflicts of interest. Councillor Jelly.
Yes, Mayor, I have declaration on agenda item 7.7.
Very good. All right, we'll move on to number 5, the mayoral presentation. It has been another big month. On the weekend, we had the big ride coming in and with their special guest, Warwick Capper, who rode into Warrnambool. It was really, really good, and a big congratulations to Shane Wilson and his team for putting that on. It was a great afternoon on Saturday. The other one which we had on actually the weekend before was the Portuguese Festival, which is a really special part of Warrnambool. It happens every second year. And what I actually found out when I was there was it is the second biggest Portuguese event in Australia after the one at the South Melbourne Markets. There you go. And it was amazing. I reckon there was 300-400 come down for it. It was really, really good. And the other big one that we actually had is we got a visit from the Honourable Governor of Victoria, Margaret Gardner, and it was great to show part of her regional tour. She went to Ararat, Koroit and Warrnambool, and we got to show her so many different things, the hydrocell, Flagstaff Hill, the surf club. There was a range of different things. It was really, really good, and it was great that everyone could be a part and come to the civic reception on that Thursday night. We'll move on to public question time. CEO, any public questions?
Mayor, there's been no questions submitted for tonight's meeting.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to 7.1, the report section, Sale Yards Highest and Best Use Master Plan Draft. CEO.
And thank you, and through you, Mayor, the Highest and Best Use Master Plan has been prepared to help guide the future use of the former Sale Yards site and the surrounding privately owned land. The master plan will be used to support future land rezonings, and it's recommended that Council release the draft plan for public consultation, after which a further report will come before Council.
Thank you very much. Any questions on that before we look for a mover? Can we have a mover? Councillor Arnott.
Thank you, Mayor Blaine. Would like to recommend that Council resolves to release the Sale Yards Highest and Best Use Master Plan draft document for public consultation for a period of 28 days and grant the CEO discretion to extend the consultation period if appropriate.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott. Can we get a seconder? Councillor Jelly. Councillor Arnott, take it away.
Thank you. This has been a long time in the making to get to this situation where we actually have now a best and highest use plan for the old Sale Yard site and adjoining pockets of land around it. The investigations that have taken place, the site investigation has looked at the soil assessment, the soil contamination and the economic baseline and land use assessment. Now, once we can pass this plan, this is going to allow Council to proceed with the rezonings, and as we can see from the plan, it is going to be used for predominantly housing. So I ask if anyone is interested out there in the community to put in their opinions. We want to hear. I think this is a really good plan moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott. Councillor Jelly.
Yes, reiterate what Councillor Arnott has just said. This is out for public consultation. It's a very important consideration for the community, and I would really encourage people to put forward their opinion there. And we look forward to hear what's come back and to further investigate what we've been given as information within this report. So look forward to having all that come back.
Thank you, Councillor Jalley. Any other councillors? Councillor Ziegler?
Yes, Mayor, that we now have this land and the opportunity to use is the result of a not universally popular decision that we had to make. As the sale yards used to contribute to the welfare of the city, the recently available land should also contribute, not necessarily by being under roofs for extra rates, but by offering options for recreation, sport, commerce and industry. Extra ratepayers will not necessarily mean that other rates will go down, but open free land is scarce and becoming scarcer as the city grows. We need green open space for everyone's health and the health of our environment. We open this plan for everyone to comment, and people must comment if they care about how this will look and how it will help Warrnambool into the future.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Taylor?
Thank you, Mayor Blaine. It'd be good to see people comment on the public consultation for the sale yards, as much of the land surrounding the former sale yards, in order to be sold or redeveloped, must first be rezoned to an alternative zone, which could pose issues once surrounding land is rezoned for residential purposes, and recommend that these other zoning anomalies be addressed through the proposed rezoning of the overall precinct. Thank you, Mayor Blaine.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Any other councillor wish to speak? I'd just like to add that what we've put forward here is set in stone, and is this what everyone would like to see? Because it's not just council's land, it's the community's land as well. We all own it. Would you like to see more industrial space, or would you like to see more community space? The future of this land's really up to the Warrnambool community, so please give us feedback and let us know what you think. Councillor Arnott, would you like to close?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Blaine. I'd just like to make comment that this was a difficult decision for 4 of us councillors here, and the decision was based on data that was received. I think one really important facet of all this land use out here is that it does need to generate ongoing income, whatever form that may be, for the council. The sale yards were closed because they were not profitable, and as I said, difficult decision, and I'll dispute Councillor Ziegler on that one, saying that they were profitable, because the vote showed previously that they weren't. So, but it is important to going forward, as I said, that this is a really, really important piece of work that's going to help shape the future of our city. So, as our Mayor has stated, please everyone, get on board, give us some opinion, give us some feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott. We'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. Move on to 7.2, the Warrnambool City Council Aquatic Strategy. Mr. CEO.
Thank you. The Warrnambool Aquatic Strategy is a really important piece of work that will guide the future redevelopment of aquatic facilities in the city. As councillors are aware, there's been a lot of work gone into this strategy, and councils and officers have visited a number of aquatic facilities. The strategy has been put out for public consultation, which elicited a high number of responses. The vast majority of people were supportive of the strategy, and there was also a strong community preference for redevelopment at the existing site. It's recommended that council adopt the strategy. Once the strategy is adopted, we will commence the next stage of planning work, which is the business case, And obviously, council will need to continue to advocate strongly to both the state and federal governments for the funding that will be required to support this important project. So the recommendation is before you in 3 parts.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Any questions on that? Can we have a mover? Councillor Arnott.
Thank you, Councillor Blaine. I would like to recommend that Council adopt the Warrnambool Aquatic Strategy and commit to progressing a business case as soon as possible. 2, that Council notes strong community support for the strategy and the preference for a redeveloped aquatic facility on the existing site. And 3, that Council commence lobbying for funding to deliver the strategy.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Ziegler. Thank you. Councillor Arnott.
Well, this piece of work has taken a long time to get there, and it is really, really exciting. And I think it's really good that we've had so much community feedback and that over half the people that respond to the survey are committed to seeing a redeveloped site. The concept plans look brilliant. That option, we can move forward in a staged way. And the new proposal includes, spa, sauna, steam room, and that also complements the new warm water pool, which is of a great benefit to our ageing demographic. And the new aquatic facility will lead to an increase in annual visits, and we look like it could land somewhere well above their industry benchmark. This is going to be a long-term project. It's not going to happen quickly, but we really do need to get our skates on now and start advocating for future funding. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott. Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, I'll endorse the comments of my fellow councillor. It's heartening to see that there was strong community support for the aquatic strategy. I think it's marvellous that we got so much response to that, and I think that it shows us that our job is now, future council's job is now to chase the funding to deliver that particular strategy.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Any other councillor? Councillor Jelly?
Yes, reiterate both my fellow councillors. There was great community feedback. It was articulate. They spoke from the heart what they wanted. The majority of people want to keep it where it is, and which will have its issues about building, but it will, as we've been informed, it will be staged, and we'll have to work and live through that. But it'll be great for the city to have a new aquatic complex. It's an important facility for the city and surrounding areas, and so we can have upgrades. So for our wellbeing, health and social connectivity in the community, we look forward to the officers developing an appropriate business case to prepare to apply for state and federal funding, which will take a fair bit of doing. But if they can get that on the go, we're ready to go, shovel ready to go, when hopefully at some stage there is funding available.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Taylor?
Thank you, Mayor Blaine. There is a compelling and urgent need for council to adopt this aquatic strategy business case, overwhelmingly endorsed by the community response, and secondly, for many reasons relating to the ageing and deteriorating condition of the current site of the pool. The existing pool has now been in use for 62 years and is now well due for a major redevelopment, mainly the upgrade of the 50-metre pool, change rooms, spectator seating, the plant room, and the addition of a warm water spa and sauna hydrotherapy pool. This will take several years to instigate, and the need for council to proceed lobbying state and federal governments for funding to deliver the strategy is most imperative and requires immediate attention. Thank you, Mayor Blaine.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Koish?
Thank you, Mayor Blair. It is really very exciting to see the community is backing this plan, master plan, and also the choice of having it in the current place. I think half of the job is already done now by the community. It is up to the council to pursue the funding and chase it wherever they can get the funding. But it's something that Warrnambool will be proud of. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Koish. I'd just like to add, it was great to see nearly 200 responses. The majority want to see it retained on the current site, as many have said, and I'm happy to follow that community direction because that's what we're here for. The business case is going to be key now, and we want to be ready to take advantage of any funding opportunities that present themselves. And I am confident that moving forward, there will be opportunities there, and with this planning and strategic work, we will be able to capitalise on them. So this is a really, really important step forward, especially in a city that's growing to 50,000, where we need to be able to cater for the needs of our residents. Councillor Arnott, would you like to close?
No, thank you, other than to say all my fellow councillors have really spoken out very strongly for this recommendation, so thank you.
Thank you. We'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll move on to item 7.3, the MAV State Council motions. Mr Mason.
That's right, Mayor. The MAV, or the Municipal Association of Victoria State Council meeting is held in May. Councils across the state have the opportunity to submit motions which will be considered and debated at the state meeting or state council meeting. If these motions are adopted, they then inform MAV activities. Two motions are put forward before council tonight, one dealing with the equitable allocation of the short stay accommodation levy, and the second in relation to the need for regional airport funding. So the recommendation is that council considers these or adopts these motions, which will then allow us to submit them to the MAV.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Any questions on that? Can we get a mover? Councillor Jelly?
Yes, Mayor, I would like to put forward the officer's recommendation that council submit the following motions to the May 2024 meeting of the Municipal Association of Victoria State Council. Number one, that the MAV calls on the state government to guarantee at least 50% of the funds raised by the short stay accommodation levy will be spent on providing housing in regional Victoria. And number two, that the MAV call on the state government to establish a funding program for improving infrastructure at airports in regional Victoria.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Arnott? Councillor Jelly?
Yes, look, both of these proposed motions hold significant relevance for Warrnambool and the region. MAV State Meeting is the appropriate platform to speak up about these issues, and hopefully look forward to the Mayor having the opportunity to speak to these at the State Meeting in May.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Councillor Arnott?
I think I'll just endorse what Councillor Jelly has said. Thank you.
Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Taylor?
Thank you, Mayor Blaine. A far more proportionate share of the 7.5% levy placed upon the short stay accommodation providers should be directed towards local councils, as half the properties used for the short stay accommodation are located in country regions, and secondly, the need to endorse the motion for the state government to establish a funding program for improving infrastructure at regional airports is most vital and necessary, as many country airports are underserviced and not up to the required standard to operate commercial airline services, despite there being a very strong and desirable interest in establishing more air services to country regions. Thank you, Mayor Blaine.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Ziegler?
Yes, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. I think that it's a very simple calculation to make, that the 50% of the funds raised by the short stay accommodation levy should be spent on providing housing. It's a desperate need, as everyone has said, right throughout the state. This is a good source rather than seeing the whole levy going into general revenue. And that the state government establishes a funding program for improving our infrastructure at airports is an important addition to the infrastructure we need to help to grow our regions.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Any other councillor wish to speak? I'd just like to add, I think it is really important that, you know, Warrnambool, we are hopefully going to put these motions up. We need to be involved in the state debate. The Municipal Association Victoria is our peak advocacy body, and we need to see them working for us in the region. I think it's really important that, as everyone said, the Airbnb levy, you know, regional areas are going to be disproportionately affected the way the plan is at the moment. We hopefully want to see a change in that. And currently there is no state program for improving airports. And like in our case especially, it can't be an expectation that City Council is going to fund all of the improvements to an airport. There needs to be a partnership there between state and federal government and council to be able to deliver for everyone and all the organisations moving forward. Councillor Jelly, you wish to close?
Just like to say that it would be good to get these motions up from Warrnambool City Council, because often the things at the state meetings, which I've attended before, are very city-centric a lot of the time, which is fine, but it's great to have something in there for the regions, and I think it's good for Warrnambool City to speak up.
And it's something we haven't done for a while either.
Yes, that's
Councillor
true.
Jelly. Yes.
It's true.
All right, we'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll move on to item 7.4, Council Plan Actions 2023-2024, October through December Q2. Mr Mason.
This report recommends that Council receive the quarterly Council Plan Action Report. So this is part of our regular reporting to Council. The action plan demonstrates a very wide variety of services and activities that Council undertakes on behalf of our community. And the report notes that good progress is being made. So the recommendation is before you.
Any questions? Can we get a mover? Councillor Jelly.
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to put forward the recommendation that the Council Plan Actions 2023 to 2024, October to December, Q2 be received.
Thank you. Can we have a seconder? Councillor Arnott. Councillor Jelly.
Thank you. Yes, it's as the CEO indicated, this is good information. We get this on a quarterly basis. It's good to see where different projects and different areas within council are, and, you know, how they're progressing or not progressing, or what the reason is for that, or celebrate some of, you know, getting through some of them that have taken a while to achieve. So it's a good report. There's a lot of things in there we could talk about, but it's very, for me, pleasing to know that the Library and Learning Centre is ensuring that public programs are aligned with community need and developed in partnership with community organisations in the business sector and providing positive partnerships with external organisations. Programs for early years, children and youth, lifelong learning, digital literacy are embedded in the program schedule, which is great because that covers a wide range of the community. In 2023, 684 program sessions attracted 19,567 attendees, which is huge, a 27% increase on previous 12 months. So that's a lot of people attending sessions on different things and being involved in the Library and Learning Centre. And it just shows that our wonderful Library and Learning Centre is continuing to give.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. It's a great sum up of the library. It's going great guns.
It's going great guns, and we're still celebrating it, and that just proves that what a great facility is.
And how critical it is
Yeah.
to the
right.
city. Sorry, Councillor Arnott.
Thank you. Mayor, as my fellow councillor has said, there's many really positive things within the action plan to speak about. But one thing I just wanted to make note of that really sort of jumped out to me was about our art gallery and the exhibition that was on from November to January, and the attendance increased by 20%, which is really good compared to that same period last year. And the exhibition of Lisa Gorman and Mirka Mora received over 3,000 paid visitations. And it's the first ticketed admission event held at the Art Gallery in 12 years. And also the catalogue that was part of the exhibition, there was over 200 copies sold. And I think this is really encouraging. It's a great result, and it just is a small step in the direction of perhaps bigger and better things for the future of Warrnambool, and gives us something to aspire to further. So well done, everyone.
Oh, thank you, Councillor Arnott. Any other councillor wish to speak? No. Councillor Jelly, do you wish to close?
No.
We'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. 7.5, tender and supply and supply and delivery of one road sweeper. Mr Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. This report recommends that council award a tender for the purchase of a new street sweeper and accept the trade-in being offered. The street sweeper is obviously a necessary part of council's heavy fleet, and unfortunately it's a fairly expensive part of the fleet, but it's certainly a necessary one. The tender has been through a competitive process, followed by a detailed evaluation of all of the tenders submitted, and the recommendation before you is that you award the tender, so in two parts on page 19.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Any questions? Can we get a mover? Councillor Jelly.
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to move the recommendation that the council, number one, that the council award tender number VP 331786 to Bucher Municipal Proprietary Limited for the amount of $457,275.60, excluding GST, and two, accept the trade-in offer of $95,500, excluding GST.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Ziegler. Councillor Jelly.
Yes, time to replace the road sweeper, which is a piece of equipment that is essential to the Department of Infrastructure fleet. The current sweeper is just over 7 years old, so it's outlasted the usual working life of such equipment. So I think it's good to be able to award this tender and accept the trade-in on the current piece of equipment.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This particular motion is a piece of housekeeping more than anything. The replacement sweeper was included in the 2023-24 financial year heavy plant replacement program. It just requires this little housekeeping motion to go through. It seems to me to be completely standard procedure.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Any other councillor wish to speak? I'd just like to add, I think it is a very important service that this piece of equipment does, and it's something that, you know, makes our streets, you know, especially Liebig Street, continue to look its best. And it's just something that will continue on as heavy plant meets its end of life, and because it's over the CEO's delegation, that's why it's coming here today. Councillor Jelly, do you wish to close?
No, thank you.
We'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. Move on to 7.6, Planning Scheme Amendment C214 WARR 19 Horn Road, Warrnambool. Mr Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. This report recommends that council adopt Amendment C21 and submit the amendment to the Minister for Planning for approval. While the land being rezoned is referred to as 19 Horn Road, it's probably better known as land that has highway frontage out near the Bunnings complex there. So it's proposed that this land would be rezoned from a farming zone to a commercial use zone. This is consistent with council's strategic direction for that area. The amendment has been subject to public notice and referrals, and those matters are in order. So the recommendation is before you.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Jelly?
Yes, Mayor, I would like to move the recommendation that Council Number 1 adopts Amendment C21-4 WARR to the Warrnambool Planning Scheme in accordance with Section 29(1) of the Planning Environment Act 1987 with changes, and 2 submits amendment C214 WARR to the Minister of Planning for approval in accordance with Section 31(1) of the Planning Environment Act 1987.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Arnott. Councillor Jelly?
Yes, this is reasonably straightforward. I think this amendment would provide appropriate use of the identified land and would be well utilised for commercial purposes. And I think it's appropriate that we submit the plan to the Minister for Planning for approval.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Councillor Arnott?
As Councillor Jelly has said, this seems to be quite a straightforward piece of planning, and it's just changing some farming zone to commercial 2 zone, highway frontage. It's consistent with the council's strategy, so I think we just need to move forward with it and submit it to the Minister.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott. Any other councillor wish to speak? I'd just like to add that I think it's great to actually see that this planning amendment's actually been driven privately. It hasn't been driven by council to change the zoning of the land. And, you know, to see the expansion and confidence in growth in Warrnambool for a business is really positive. And I think that, like, this planning scheme feeds into all the land around it, and it's going to continue to grow out there. So I actually think this is a really positive step forward for the city and for the highway. Councillor Jelly, do you wish to close?
Yes, look, it's important that we look at this as in positive light, because it is important for businesses. We want businesses to invest in the city and grow, and this is what this proposal is. So it is a very positive step to send this to the Minister.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. We'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. Councillor Jelly, you've declared a conflict on 7.7. Okay, so we'll move on to 7.7. Application to amend a development plan 140 to 150 Botanic Road and 13 and 15 Crawley Street, the Emmanuel College. Mr Mason.
Thank you. This is a relatively simple extension to an existing development plan, and it's recommended that council approve the development plan, which will allow the expansion of Emmanuel College and provide improved parking and access from Crawley Street, and it's been done in accordance with the overall master plan. So the recommendation is before you, effectively to approve the amended development plan.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Any questions? Can we have a mover? Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, Mayor, that having considered all the matters normally required under Section 60 of the Act for planning applications, council should approve the development plan under the relevant provisions of the Warrnambool Planning Scheme in respect of the land described as Lot 1 on PS 327562 and Lot 2, PS 619541, known as 140 to 150 Botanic Road, Warrnambool, and Lot 2, PS 724625 and Lot 65 LP 59001, known as 13 and 15 Crawley Street, Warrnambool, which seeks to facilitate the implementation of a master plan for an existing education facility.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Arnott. Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, I think that it behooves the city well to allow this recommendation to go through. The developments at Emmanuel College have done nothing but enhance the facility and amenity of that particular educational institution, and I think that we should do all we can to support that.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Councillor Arnott.
Thank you, Mayor Blaine. Yes, this is just an extension to an already existing development plan, and it is part of the school strategy. It will improve parking. It's going to offer a Year 9 centre, a study centre. So I think it's important that we do support this amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Arnott. Any other councillor wish to speak? I'd just like to add to, there has been work done with traffic assessments to ensure that Crawley Street can cope with extra traffic if and when this development does progress. So I think it's I think it fits in well with, Emmanuel's plans and the surrounding streets. Councillor Ziegler, would you like to close?
Yeah, just one comment. A further point, Mayor, is that the new parking arrangements that come in off that are provided for in the new development also takes pressure off the Botanic Road precinct as well, so the whole lot needs to be supported.
Thank you, councillor Ziegler. All right, we'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. Sorry, Wendy, could you get Vicky, councillor Jelly back, please? It was passed unanimously, councillor Jelly.
Right, thank you.
Item 7.8, informal meetings of council reports. Mr Mason.
3 records of informal meetings to be received, Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, do we have a mover? Councillor Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor Blaine. I'd like to move that the record of the informal meetings of council held on the 12th, 19th and 26th of February 2024 be received.
Thank you, councillor Taylor. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Jelly. Councillor Taylor, do you wish to speak?
No, thank you, Mayor Blaine.
No, thanks.
No one else? All right, we'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. 7.9, Mayoral and Chief Executive Officer Activity Summary Report. Mr Mason.
Again, the report's there for council to receive, so
Thank
shows
you.
a fairly busy month, Mayor.
It does. Any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Arnott. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Acoish. Councillor Arnott. Councillor Acoish. Do you wish to speak?
Thanks.
We'll put the motion to the vote then. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. No, item 8, notices of motion. There have been no notices of motion received. Mr Mason?
Correct.
Item 9, general business. Does anyone have any general business they want to raise? No? Very good. Item 10, urgent business. There are no items of urgent business. All right, can we get a mover to suspend standing orders to move into the in-camera part of the meeting? Councillor Ziegler and a seconder, Councillor Jelly. All those in favour? Passed. Thank you everyone for coming tonight, and we'll move into the in-camera part.